My name is Kevin Bowman. I am the president of the Human Rights Alliance here in Santa Fe, and one of the things we do is put on Pride every year. The community in Santa Fe is a little splintered at this point. Part of the reason is kind of by virtue of what type of town this is, as a relatively affluent place. So we have a lot of wealthy male couples, female couples who've come to town to retire. But if I talk to some of them about getting involved, they'll say, well, I've done that already. And that, to me, from my standpoint, as being someone who is older and now is into being an advocate, I always try to remind my colleagues and friends of my age that they still need to be active and out there, and we need to embrace everyone because the community has changed so much over the course of time, right? We have a lot of people who are very welcoming and very much a part of the community here, and even friends of mine who are 10, 15 years older than I am, who grew up here, they always talk about their family coming and having friends over and same-sex couples, and no one thought anything of it. So it's always been one of those places. It's always had a sense of community. But I think over the course of time, things, splinter apart. And because this is a type of city that really now our median house price is $500,000, a lot of people can't afford to live here. And the young people who are coming up, they don't want to stay here. We have so many people that were in and out of the scene, and they were just part of the fabric of the community. People knew that they were part of the LGBTQ community, but there was no separation of that years ago. It just became part of the fabric. So we have had throughout the years clubs and gay bars, but we haven't had one since I've been here, and probably a couple of years before that. Part of the reasoning probably for that is we have one of the toughest DUI laws in the country. So in order to open a club or a facility, the insurance costs are very high. So I know that that's part of the reasoning behind it. But there are some safe spaces. They've started a queer night on Monday nights at one of our little hip hotels here at El Rey Inn. And we have done a monthly mixer now that we call Pride After 5. Now what we're trying to do is to take the two groups, because the queer night attracts younger people and ours got an older group. We're trying to mix them all together. So those things are starting to build the community back again. I'm very proud to say that the Santa Fe Public School System has someone who specifically works with children who are gender nonconforming or deciding that they want to become trans, with working with their parents. So that's pretty progressive, and we're really excited about that. There's the Mountain Center. They have LGBTQ youth programming involved. There's youth shelters and family services that do a lot of care for homeless LGBTQ youth. There's YouthWorks. There's a number of organizations that are part, and they're their own organization, I should say, but have a part that translates or reacts and works with the LGBTQ community. People who are, gender nonconforming, transgender, identify he, him, his, she, her, hers. We want everyone involved, because that to us tells us we've got a pulse of what's happening. Come out for Pride, number one, and then get involved with your community. And don't take for granted all of the things that were won over the course of time by the people whose shoulders we stand on, because those things can change in an instant. And if we don't have an active community,